And we are in line 3. Jerusalem is built as a city that is compact together, where the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, to the testimony of Israel, to give thanks to the name of the Lord. For thrones are set there for judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Let's elaborate back at 3. Jerusalem is built as a city that is compact together. So Jerusalem, that possession of peace, as a city that is compact together, compact, consolidated, pressed closely together to join firmly. So it's a close-knit, consolidated city. And it says where the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, to the testimony of Israel, or as a testimony to Israel, to give thanks to the name of the Lord. And so let's look at 4. It says where the tribes go up. That refers us to Deuteronomy 16:16. That says, 3 times a year all your males shall appear before the Lord your God in the place which he chooses, at the feast of unleavened bread, at the feast of weeks, and at the feast of tabernacles. And they shall not appear before the Lord empty-handed. And so this is, just telling when they're going up. This is concerning the law of the feast, and so what they must do, and how they must go 3 times a year. All your males shall appear before the Lord your God in the place which he chooses. Okay, and all right, and it should not go empty-handed. So going back to Psalm 122, where the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord. So God has a specific tribe that are going up to the Lord, a tribe of the Lord, as a testimony to Israel, or a testimony of Israel, or a testimony to Israel. And so to give thanks to the name of the Lord. To give thanks to the name of the Lord. And then so remember we talked about when we dealt with Psalm 119, and we dealt with those word studies, as testimony was one of them. And so that testimony comes from the verb to bear witness, and is used 9 times in Psalm 119. The word suggests not only corroboration by testimony, but sometimes includes a warning as well. It is used in the Old Testament only with the reference to God. His word is his own testimony to himself, and as such should be accepted and acted upon. And so to the testimony of Israel, to give thanks to the name of the Lord. 5, for thrones are set there for judgment, the thrones of the house of David. And so we have those set thrones there. And what are the thrones there for? For judgment. And so judgment was another word study that we learned about in Psalm 119, where it says it's derived from the verb shaphat, judge or govern, and occurs about 400 times in the Old Testament, 16 times in Psalm 119 alone. The general idea is one of justice or specific ordinances to promote justice. There are many distinct usages of the noun in both secular and religious law. Each specific ordinance of the Pentateuch is called a mishpat. The Lord is a God of justice and loves justice. His judgments are a great deep. Because God is just in his judgments, so should we, his people, be. And so here it is. It said, for the thrones are set there for judgment. And remember, God's judgment is righteous and is true. And so the thrones of the house of who? The house of David. And so remember, God said that he was going to always have a king sitting on the throne of David. David's always going to have a son sitting on his throne. Okay? And who is that final son of David? Jesus himself. Okay? Jesus himself. And so let's go ahead and pause there, and then we'll pick it up in our last stanza.